Ladies and gentlemen, I have a balloon wrapped around the mouth of this plastic bottle. Now see the magic. The balloon is inflated even though its mouth is wide open. How is it possible? Now abracadabra, killy killy choo. Watch this video till the end and you will learn the secret behind this and many more interesting things about air. In this video, we will do various experiments to understand a basic property of air. Air occupies space. Take an empty glass and a glass container filled with water. Mark its water level. Now dip the glass into this container, keeping it upside down. We can see the water level rises as we put the glass inside. This means that water does not enter the glass. Why do you think this happened? There is actually something inside the glass. Yes, our glass is actually not empty. It has air inside which takes up space. And we know if something is already there, we can't put more in it unless we take that something out. Let's take out some air from the glass by tilting it. We can see some air bubbles coming out of the glass. As some air escapes the glass, water starts entering and water level starts dropping. We just saw that air takes up space. Take a bottle and place a narrow nozzle funnel on its mouth. Now seal the bottle's mouth with tape, clay or hot glue gun. Be sure to have a good seal. If air can get through the space between funnel and bottle, our experiment would not work. Now pour water to fill up the funnel quickly. You will see that except this very little water which initially made its way, water could not go down. Can you think why? Water does not go down the funnel because there is already air filled in the bottle. And if it is already full, we cannot pour more water without removing the air first. Air can neither escape through the funnel opening nor through the space between the bottle's mouth and funnel. If we pour very slowly, we can still fill up the bottle with water because there will be enough room in the opening of the funnel for both air to exit and water to go down. But if we pour very quickly, after a few drops make its way to the bottle, the opening will fill with water and the water will block the flow of air and will not be able to go down. Let's now poke a hole in the bottle. Now the water would start going down the bottle. By making a hole, we provided an exit for air and make space for water. This proves that air occupies space. Place a ping pong ball in the glass container filled with water. It will float over the water. Now place an inverted glass such that the ball sits inside the glass. Push the glass down into the water while it is still over the ball. Observe the water level. Water level drops inside the glass. You can check the water level using the floating ball. As you move the glass to the bottom of the container, the ball sits on the bottom. Water could not enter inside the glass because there was no space for it. Glass is already filled with air, so we know that air takes space. Let's see what will happen to this tissue paper if I put it in water. We can see that it got wet. Now, take a glass and stick tissue paper firmly in the bottom so that it does not fall. What do you think will happen if I put this inverted glass into the water container? A natural reaction would be, of course, it would get wet. Let's do and observe. We can see the glass is submerged in water. Now take out the glass while still keeping it upside down. Take out the tissue. It is still dry. Can you think why it did not get wet? Yes, there is air already inside the glass, which had no way to escape when we put the glass in water, keeping it upside down. So, water could not enter the glass. This proves that air occupies space. Take a balloon and inflate it. The balloon gets bigger as we put air into it. The only way air could make it bigger is if air takes up space. As the air enters the balloon from our lungs, it takes up space in the balloon. Blowing a balloon requires additional force to expand the rubber of the balloon. That work is done by our lungs. As we release the balloon, this forced air flows out of the balloon and the balloon collapses. I will cover more on this in my future videos on air pressure. But we proved that air occupies space. The balloon expands because the air going inside needs more space. Before we move to our next experiment, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Knowledge multiplies when shared, so don't forget to share this video with your friends. How hard could it be to blow a balloon? Well, you may say that it is a child's play. I challenge you. Put a balloon into a plastic bottle such that the open end of the balloon wraps around the mouth of the bottle. Now try to blow the balloon and see what happens. No matter how hard I try to blow, the balloon will not inflate. If you don't believe, go ahead and try for yourself. Why do you think I could not blow the balloon? Though the bottle appears empty, it is full with air. In order to make space for an inflated balloon inside the bottle, the existing air in the bottle needs to escape. However, there is no way for this air to escape because we wrap the balloon over its mouth. Let's now poke a hole in the bottom of this bottle. Again, try to blow the balloon. This time I could blow the balloon because existing air in the bottle could escape via this hole to make room for the inflated balloon. This shows that air occupies space. I will again inflate the balloon. However, this time I will cover the hole with my finger after the balloon is inflated. You can see that the balloon stays inflated even when its mouth is wide open. The balloon stays inflated because there is no air rushing back into the bottle to push the balloon. When I take my finger off this hole, outside air flows back into the bottle and the balloon collapses. Let's experiment a little more. Instead of filling air into the balloon via balloon opening, this time I will suck air out from this hole and see what happens. As I removed some of the air from this hole, more air entered from the other side, inflating the balloon. A pessimist would say this glass is half empty. An optimist would say this glass is half full. But science says it is completely full, half with water and half with air. I hope you would also try these experiments at home. If you can think of any other ways to prove that air occupies space, share in the comments. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon for notifications. Do like and share this video.